There we go. All right, friends. Welcome, healthy, happy, and fulfilled family. It is good to see you guys today. It is Monday night, and that means it is yet again, time for healthy, happy, and fulfilled with the modern day monk. My name is Ryder J. Champoulian. I am the modern day monk. Although I may not act, look, or sound like it, I am an ordained Taoist priest. I am also the founder of Lifestyle Healthcare, structural, functional, energetic healing, and a host of other modalities that I use every day in my clinic for the last several decades to help people find health, happiness, and fulfillment. That means removing their pain. That means getting them off of or removed from their medications. That means making them feel better, have more energy, have less depression, better life expectancies, less surgeries, less needs for drugs, and of course, more success. Because a good feeling, good operating machine does better work. And with that, even more importantly, more fulfillment in life. Because yes, that is what we are all here for. We are all on this planet and all striving for one thing. And that one simple thing is simply being fulfilled, being actually fulfilled from the things that we want in life. And the question is, how many of us out there actually are fulfilled with the things that we're doing? How many of us actually wake up in the morning and go, wow, I'm excited for today? And how many of us go to sleep at night going, wow, you know what? Today was a kick-ass day. I feel good. It was successful. I feel accomplished. I made loving connections with the people around me. I made sure that every moment mattered. I was gracious, appreciative, and thankful for all the things that came to me, even the difficulties, the challenges, and the hard times. So those are things many of us don't often do. And those are things that are actually, quite honestly and depressingly, missing from our current healthcare system. You see, when we look at modern medicine, it does one thing. It's very good at making things smaller and smaller, more specific and more specific. And so they can find out what little enzyme on what little cell does what little thing, and what little protein marker transfers what to where, and what this one little molecule does. But are we just one molecule? Is our existence as a being one molecule? Are we one molecule interacting with the universe around us? And the answer is no. We are a wide web of interconnecting and integrating pieces between us internally, the world externally, and us and the world in between. And very often when we start to look at the very, very fine, minuscule, one way, one thing that does things, we end up missing the big picture. And I know if you're anything like me, you've realized that modern medicine misses the big picture quite often. I got dozens and dozens and dozens of stories, but one of my favorites. I was called in to work on a patient who had carpal tunnel surgery. 6 months prior, they had their wrist operated on to relieve an impinged nerve in their carpal tunnel in their hand. If you're not familiar with carpal tunnel syndrome, it is a nerve impingement that causes numbness, tingling, burning, and weakness in the hands. And this young woman, she was sent to my office. I was asked to give an assessment on her because some strange things were going on. You see, she had had her surgery 6 months prior, and she was seeing a physical therapist, but her symptoms and pain were getting worse. And something odd was going on. It was actually getting worse up her arm. And if you know, the nerves run this way for your carpal tunnel syndrome. So if you have an injury here, your hand is affected. But if you have an injury here, your forearm shouldn't be affected because the nerves come down this way. So something weird was going on because her forearm started withering away. It started atrophying. She started getting burning and numbness in her arm, and then into her upper arm and even into her shoulder. So I did some evaluations, did carpal tunnel tests on her, same ones the neurologist did before surgery. I said, something's not right here. I checked all the different areas of impingement up the arm, through the chest and shoulder, into the neck and jaw. I said, something's still off here. Started looking at her eyes and doing some basic neurological tests. I said, you know what? Something's still not right here. I got a weird intuition. So I ended up referring her to a neurologist that I knew, worked well with, got her in that day, spoke to the neurologist beforehand, gave him a rundown of what's going on. I said, you absolutely send her in, send her in. Sent her right over. She goes and sees him. Without making too big of a fuss, she says, no, I'd like to rule out a few things. Let's send you for some brain scans. Just rule these things out, make sure they're not an issue. And then we'll continue on with figuring out exactly what this is. I said, okay. Lo and behold, part of her opposite hemisphere of her brain, on her sensory area for the upper extremity, she was developing lesions, and lesions elsewhere in her brain as well, too. And those lesions were destroying the nerves that gave her sense, and also part of her motor skills. So the doctor immediately put her on medications. The lesions resolved, the majority of them, enough that she could get by. The arm started to come back. She's got a feeling back in her arm and most of her hand, except for the nerves that were operated on. Now, had the doctor done more than this, and tapping on her wrist to figure out if she had carpal tunnel and sending her out for surgery, and actually did a full workup of the entirety of the system, he may have realized that there was more to it. Another way we can look at this is through relationships, right? There are many things that deal with our health. How many of us at some point in your life, maybe you were in junior high school or high school, your sweetheart broke up with you, or you had emotionally bad news, the loss of a loved one or a pet, and you didn't eat for days. You felt tired, lethargic, maybe short-fused. Why? Because you were emotionally struck. Can that bad news or that breakup of a relationship, or maybe even being in a relationship that's tying and taxing and stressing, maybe even that is enough to get you all worked up and change how well your body is healthy, how well you're able to eat, work out, exercise, how good you feel. Or perhaps you have some financial struggles. Maybe that relationship has got you so stressed out that when you go to work, you're not doing the work that you should be. Maybe you're up all night, you're sleeping on the couch, you're angry, you're upset, you're fighting, you get to work, your mind is elsewhere, you get fired from your job, and now you have financial problems. How do you think your health's going to be in that situation? Right? We don't recognize it, but our health, our wealth, and our relationships are directly tied into each other. Just like time management, financial budgeting, decision-making, all of these things are actually part of our self-health care. They're part of our lifestyle. And by making good choices with our lifestyle, we are actually able to have better states of health. Hence, lifestyle healthcare. I know it's a brilliant idea, isn't it? So where does this all lead us? This leads us to the idea of a 3x3 wheel. We're going to go into the first 3 parts of it today. All parts of our life revolve around 3 aspects of our life: health, wealth, and relationships. There's no product that's sold that doesn't dive into at least one of them. There's no choice that you've ever made that doesn't dissolve into just one of them. Every single thing in the world, even your car, whether you have a nice car, or an old car, a station car, a car with 3 wheels, you have a car out there. You got a car because you either justified it by health, wealth, or relationships. Oh, you know what? Like wealth. I need this car to get to work. I got a lot of money. I'm buying the nicest car to make myself look good. I got a tax write-off. I got to write this off so I don't spend money on my taxes. I got the cheapest, most efficient car I possibly could. I bought this car because it's electric and I don't want to pay for gas. Those are all wealth reasons. What about health? Right? Oh, I got this car so I don't have to drive in the snow or in the cold or the rain, because it's too long of a drive to walk. That would be unhealthy. I got to walk 40 miles to work each day. It's a long commute. Right? Lots of different reasons. Maybe the health of the environment. I got this car because it's fuel efficient. I got this car because it's safe. It's got the highest safety rating. It's got 17 seatbelts that go all sorts of different ways. And 99 airbags, and it shoots out foam. I know it's silly, right? But you got this car because you wanted to stay healthy. Or maybe a relationship. I got this car so certain people look at me a certain way. Or I got this car so my internal relationship, because when I get in this car, I feel good about myself. Like putting on a new shoes or getting a new haircut. You walk out, you feel good. You got some swag in your step, right? Good. So what in our lives do we break into health, wealth, and relationship? Well, everything. So here's what I want you to do, because it's probably a new concept for you. The challenge this week is going to go into measuring where you are, figuring out what your current state of health, wealth, and relationships are, and then reporting them to the group each and every day. So right in that same thread at 8 o'clock, we're going to have our video posted with the challenge. And I want you to write down why your numbers are what they are, what your numbers are, and why you feel like they are. My relationship is a 10. My wealth is a 2. I ain't doing so good. If your wealth stays a 2, how's your relationship going to be? Probably not as good. Pretty sure your husband or wife or significant other wants to live in a house and not in a tent on the curb. So if your wealth goes from a 2 to a 1 to a 0, guess what? Your relationship's probably going to go from a 10 to a 0, maybe also. And potentially if you're living on the curb, your health is probably not going to be so good as it's a cold, dark, and rainy day here on Long Island. So challenge for this week is going to involve measuring our health, wealth, relationships. Tune in at 8 p.m. Watch the video on that so you get the details and how you're going to record and document that. But I want you guys to keep in mind some certain things. Keep in mind on focusing. Don't try to fix all these things at one time. Focus on one course until successful, right? Visualize and be grateful. Because when you visualize and you're grateful, you're able to manifest the things that you want in your life. Prioritize and execute things. Figure out what's urgent and what's important. Urgent things aren't always important, but for some reason we decide we need to do these things first. And that's not always the case. The most important things for us to do are the important things that move us in the direction towards being more fulfilled, more healthy, happy, successful, and fulfilled. That's right. So make sure you are prioritizing and executing important things over urgent things. And of course, make sure you live with a clear mind and a radiant heart. I had a wonderful conversation with a friend of mine today about just that, about how we can be receptive to things around us, but not necessarily accept them within us by having an open mind, listening. Okay, I hear you. I'm not going to keep that bullshit with me. That's your story. But I'm going to create a safe space for you to speak. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it without judgment. No presuppositions, no prejudgments, just taking it as, okay? And having a bright enough, an upright, strong enough, vibrant enough heart that when that information comes in, we can either take it in and use it as fuel to continue our joy expansion outwards, or our heart can push it out and be like, no, I love you, but thanks. That shit's yours. I got enough of my own stuff to deal with. I don't need your crap too. So you can keep that. So remember to have a clear mind and a radiant heart. That's it. That's my time with you, my friends. For those of you that will stay on and tune in for the Alchemist session, we have our weekly meeting following up after today's session in the Alchemist room. If you'd like more information about that, send me a DM, message myself or Danica on Instagram or Facebook, Messenger, all those things we have options for. Or check out our website, log in and join up with the Alchemist, where we do a deep dive, even more in depth into these techniques, these strategies, and these formulas for success, so that you will learn how to implement them, have partners and accountability partners to help you implement them and keep you on track, to make sure that you're getting educated, that you're getting empowered and inspired, and of course that you're staying and remaining engaged. Educate, empower, and engage. That is our key for changing your life. My friends, Ryder J. Champulian, also known as Zhang Mingda, here for you. Be well and live life fully.